welcome to Comics and Ramblings with Ari. When I had this news, right, I was like, what the hell, right? Right, so what the hell? This is from 20 years ago, right? Oh, 20, yeah, I think 2003 it came out, 2003, 2004 it came out, right? And so I'm a fan. I'm a fan of the Sentry, right? I have the original comics plus the variant covers, right, that it came out with. So when I had this news, I'm like, what more can they do, right? What more can they ruin through these moronic decisions they keep making? Now, of course, this decision comes out from this video. Let me just show you this little, where are we here? Let me grab that. Actually, I had it, but let me play it up. Right, here we go. So,
Young is playing the Sentry in a movie.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that. That's coming up. That's
yeah,
that's gonna be.
So this is coming from Bounty.
He called me. He went in for a costume fitting. I hope I'm not. I don't think this is a spoiler or anything that'll get anybody in trouble. I don't know. Maybe we'll see. I don't care. I don't work for Marvel. What are they gonna do to me? He called me and he said, I just came back from a costume fitting for the Sentry. I guess I only do superheroes that are yellow and blue. He said he was at the costume fitting and was like, oh crap, I forgot Invincible was yellow and blue.
Greg L, Static Art.
Right, so that's what broke the news, right? He was on a podcast. What is the podcast called? Drawing Omni-Man and Conversations with Robert Kirkman, right? So of course, you know, nobody's, I guess, whoever's watching that is watching that and saw that, but like, of course, Bounding into Comics, you know, saw that, or somebody brought it to the notice, and then they reported on it, right? So, you know, Robert Kirkman claims Marvel Studios will race swap Sentry with Asian actor Stephen Yeun, right? So as you can see, Sentry is white, right? Sentry is white. And of course, I mean, everybody's gonna be out there going, oh, all these racist, right-wing conspiracy theorists, people, whatever. I'm not any of those, and I'm on the left. I'm in the center, right? I just enjoy my things to be the way they are, how they were made to be. You know, I like my comics to be the characters they're originally created to be, the characters to be played by those people that look like them. I don't want them to be race swapped and messed with, because what is the point in that? You know, you have enough characters who are already Asians there. Why don't you already create stories and movies and bring those characters to the fore, so those maybe, I guess, B tier comic characters become A tier comic characters, right? So instead, what you do the sloppy second, right? You do the sloppy second here. Take a white character, because that's what really matters to everybody in the world, is that if you take a white character and you replace it with an Asian or non-white character in that role, now it's going to be more beneficial to everybody coming to watch it. You know what? Anybody who loves Sentry will basically go, no, thank you. I'd rather be called a racist than go and waste my money or my time on that film, right? Or anything. So Thunderbolts, you know, he's going to be in Thunderbolts. So screw Thunderbolts. Screw anything that's got to do with Thunderbolts. Screw anything that's got to do with Marvel right now. I'm so tired of Marvel bashing fans, right? You saw recently that lady from freaking the Marvels, right? Going on about how they were, you know, we're all misogynists, racist, homophobes, right? Yeah, that's me. You know, yeah, I'm that person, right? Obviously, to these morons, that I'm that person, you know, because I represent someone who doesn't like to be, you know, to have trash, you know, to watch trash, right? So because I don't want to watch trash, I'm now labeled something that's, you know, disgusting, because that's how they want people to, that's how they see the audience who disagrees with them. So if you disagree with the Sentry being Asian now, right, being played by an Asian actor who's fine, no problems. Steven's been great in you know, in the early seasons of that I've watched of The Walking Dead. I think I gave up after 3 or 4 seasons. And but I mean, I just noticed there was like 10 seasons now with like 2 different you know, offshoots, you know, extra seasons, different, you know, topics, whatever, or different title, you know, whatever they call them, like franchise Walking Dead things. But it's so tired and boring. Like the only way you can get an up for an Asian actor is to put them in a role that's written and created and is known by the entire comic book readership and fandom as a white character who has a yellow costume, which is laughable, right? So like Steven said, right? Steven could have been smart enough to go, hey, you know what? I like to just, why don't I just play the role of an Asian as an Asian actor and an Asian superhero? And this is what, so these guys themselves are perpetuating the so-called modern audience, race baiting, race switching, race washing of characters that are actually white. So rather than being creative and go, hey, you know what? I hear there's a Hulk character that you guys have race, you know, race swapped already, who's already Asian, Adonis, I think it's Adonis or something like that. You know, the new Hulk character they did in like 2015 when they messed with everything and made them everybody young, and so they had you know, they had that the Hulk became an Asian dude, right? For whatever reason, after like about 2-3 comics, and I was like, yeah, this is boring and tedious, and what's the point of it, right? It's not Bruce Banner. So the tokenism is, you know, goes back that far. So the idea that you can, you know, continue to just slap the fans who have like supported this shit for years, right? Who supported this shit for years, is now being told that they're racist for not liking something, you know, that they've put money into, hundreds of dollars into, right? And I mean hundreds and hundreds of dollars because, you know, my investment in my favorite comic, you know, characters at that time, right, about 2000s when it came out. Let me see the exact time of this. All right, this is of course drawn by David Finch. So when you look at all these characters from then, right, this is 20 years ago when this came out. Is it? Yeah, about 20 years ago, right? So myself, as someone who loved this character, went out and spent hundreds of dollars on it, not to mention all the, you know, the costly variant covers that I spent money on, you know, like by Adam Hughes and stuff like that. It's worth around $200 New Zealand or American, which will go up in price now, but that doesn't matter to me. The value for me is in the comic being the white character, right? The Sentry being white, right? Not being an Asian character or played by an Asian guy, because that's just boring, man. That's just, that's emptiness of like creativity. Because at the end of the day, you know, you want something that's really cool to be represented, that's original, right? So why don't you make, you know, uplift characters that are already there, that already have the costumes, that already have the, what do you call, the mantle of an Asian person in Marvel Comics or in DC Comics, whatever. But when you change so drastically, who is he now? Who is this person? Or what now? You got to change his character, his name as well. You got to change his family. You got to change his parents. If he's got his brothers and sisters, you got to change everything. So now you're removing all origins. But they also did that a while back, which is why nobody really made any more. You know, those people who actually loved the original character, the Sentry, you know, started going, yeah, you guys are just, you're changing everything a little while, you know, a couple of years back. But now it's like, well, since we've done that, why don't we change it more? So I'd rather be called a racist or whatever than to accept this shit, right? I'd rather be called that than to accept this shit, right? Because at the end of the day, I've invested money and time into this character, right? Then I'm going to be told that this character is not important anymore. Because why? Because he's, you know, because this character is now Asian. This character, Steven could have turned down that role and said, give me an Asian role. that's already established as an Asian character. So when you take something like, like the Sentry, right, who's originally a white dude, and you replace him also with an Asian, you're doing the same thing. You're saying you are only good as an Asian person in a superhero role if you sloppy second a white dude. But all those other Asian actual characters that are out there, you know what? We're not going to prop those up. We're going to prop you up only if you play a white dude's role, right? So all the comics that I put my effort into, and all the shows, I mean, all the toys I bought and stuff mean nothing, because why should I invest in this disgusting race swapping, race washing, black washing, Asian washing of white characters? Because why don't you do it the other way around, right? Why don't we whitewash black characters? Why don't we whitewash Asian characters, right? Because at the end of the day, there's a real despicable, insidious nature to this, where you end up one day you'll have a black Hitler, right? And it'll be normalized, right? You'll be like, yeah, it was a black Hitler, right? So that's fine now. So why can't you do that? So why can't we have a white Panther, right? Race swap the Black Panther with a white dude now. Why don't you put Stephen in that role, right? Why don't you put Stephen Ewan as a in that role, and and make him a make every Asian character now a black character, right? So that's the fakeness of Hollywood, right? Hollywood works on stereotypes. That's what I was taught when I was doing my film degree. They're all about stereotypes. But there's also this despicable underbelly of racism that they don't even see them doing, because they think you're lifting up these cultures. You're lifting up the Asian dude by putting him in a original white dude's role. So tell me this: are his parents going to be Asian as well? Because if I remember right, Stephen is Korean, right? So you're going to have Korea. Is he going to have Korean parents, or is he going to have white parents? Or one of them's going to be Asian or Korean, and one of them's going to be white, right? How are you going to mix it up? Because when you create a character, you create the entire history. You go look at their parents. Why is he Asian? Okay, so if he's Korean, why is he Korean? So his families, from Korea. When do they move up? Do they ever move? Do they come to the West or whatever? Are they still in Korea? So you look at that. Who are the grandparents? You look at the grandparents. What was their grandparents' struggles like in life? What are their parents' struggles in life? What are their sisters? Where do their sister and brother go to school? You have all those things that go into building a character, right? You create the origin of someone. When you race swap, all you do is go, you know what? I'm just going to put an Asian dude in this, and this is who he is now. Nothing else. There's no other things, right? And that was the same thing that happened with Invincible, right? I was like, after like season 1, I was like, I don't really care. It's like, what does it ever matter anymore, right? Everything you invested in doesn't matter. So why invest it in any longer, right?